All right. So I just really wanted to do this to kind of kick off. We just started our leadership page and we're so excited about it. And I know there's probably like, a lot of questions as to, what it's going to be all about and things like that. And I know for some of you guys, you're kind of just, taking that leadership role. So you're probably like, just really feeling like kind of lost and not sure what to do next. So I'm really going to hit on some things tonight. But I'm like, I don't know, I'm just so excited, you guys. I was talking to a few of the leaders this week and I was like, I don't know why, but I'm like really excited. Like to the point where it was like, I feel like my like, I don't know, I could like feel it in my body, like it was like bursting. And I haven't felt this way in a few years. Like I haven't, I mean, I'm always excited. I always love the business, but there's just some sort of like crazy fire inside of me right now that I haven't had in a few years. And I like truly believe that this summer is like the new first quarter. Like I know we always talk about, oh, first quarter, the beginning of the year, it's always when your business booms, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I feel like ours was good, but I don't think like we hit our peak yet. Like I feel like summertime is like when it's gonna like explode. And like, Jen and I have been talking about that, kind of the whole month of May, and we're excited. And like, I don't know, I can just feel it, you guys, and I hope you guys can sense it too. And if you're not, maybe you need to talk to me on the phone or just be around me, because probably after you're done talking to me, you're gonna feel the exact same way, because I'm pretty sure it's like radiating off of me. But we're just gonna hit some points. Like I made some notes, so I'm trying to like be like organized. And maybe if Jen is able to hop on, I know like I think she has to put her kid to bed, so you know how that is. She's probably under the blanket, but she might add a few things too. And if you guys have questions, try to like jot them down or put them in the group chat, and then I'll try to get to them at the end, because I really want to try to like not take up like too much of your guys' time. And you guys know how I am, and I could like literally talk like forever. So I'm afraid if I like answer questions like in the middle of it, then it'll be like I'll be on here forever. So just like I said, write them down, or if you want to put them in the group chat just so like you don't forget, um, go ahead and do that. So the first thing I want to talk about, and like I said, some of you guys are already going to like feel like you know these things, but other of you like this, we have our emerging leaders coming up and you maybe don't really know these things, or maybe we need a reminder. But I just want everybody to remember, your team is always watching you. They're going to follow your lead. So if you're excited, they're going to be excited. If you're kind of like MIA, they're going to like maybe not right away be MIA, but that you might kind of start to notice them like trickling away. So just remember, they are watching you. Like if you're not posting consistently, if you're not showing up in your group chats, if you're not getting on Zooms, like they notice that kind of stuff. And if you don't start showing, if you stop showing up, they're going to think, oh, well, she wasn't on there. Why do I need to be on there? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's not what we want. Like we want to lead from the front, and we want to be showing our teams that we're working as hard as we are telling them. I mean, honestly, like I'm sure, like, I want to say I work harder than everybody just because that's just me. But I feel like that's how I should be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want, and if I feel like someone's working harder than me, then I want to work harder than them. Like, I feel like as a leader, that's what I need to be doing. And I want, to be working as hard as the hardest worker, because I feel like that's only going to better, everybody's businesses, So just think that, you don't want, you want to work as hard as you want your team to work. Another thing, like I feel like, especially, I know as we go like diamond and double, and even for me, it gets crazy. But if you're like ruby, emerald, and maybe or below, like you should be checking your eSuite every day. And when I say doing that, you want to be checking for new enrollments. Like if there's new customers, and I mean going in there, go to reports, go to tree viewer, clicking on every single distributor in your downline, looking through. I mean, I used to be like on top of things. Like I would click on every single loyal customer and I would say who declined. I didn't rely on my, downline to be checking their credit card declines. I was doing it. So then I could be like, hey, you have these credit card declines. Because, if you're Ruby or anything like that, it's not super crazy. But also you want to be checking for new enrollments. Like you want to see if somebody got a new loyal customer, because maybe they don't realize that they did, and you want to be able to say, hey, did you see you got a loyal customer? You can move them to your new distributor and get them fast start qualified. You get your $100 bonus. because sometimes those new distributors don't notice that. I had a girl do it the other day, and I looked, and I was like, oh crap, she signed a loyal. And I messaged her, and we missed the 24-hour mark. And I was like, gosh dang it, you know. So just looking for those things, you know, or looking for, you know, new distributors, things like that, just kind of being the eyes for your newer distributors that might not, you know, think to look for those things. I'll try not to get too like in depth. Like we can, you know, we have forever to talk like in the future about different things, but I really want to hit on some of the basics. You know, you want to be commenting on your team's posts every day. So especially, you know, I'm like, again, I know as our teams get bigger, it gets hard to do that. Like I try to break mine up into like groups to do like a day or times of the day. But you know, if you're not a Diamond Jet or you're Ruby, you should be able to keep a handle on that and like go to your distributors post each day, either in the morning, in the evening, and show some love, create some excitement. That was something in the beginning that, you know, we really did. And it's awesome because, you know, you're commenting on their post. It's going to bump their post in the newsfeed. Maybe someone else commented on it and they're going to see you be like, oh my God, I love the greens. And they're going to be like, okay, like I have to try these now. Like, you know, I'm hearing so many good things. So just really make that a priority. And also it's going to like help your team see that they have support, that they're not alone in this. Because especially being new, you know, sometimes we feel like, oh gosh, like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like, is anybody like paying attention, you know, kind of thing to me. So it just makes them like feel a little bit better that they have some like support. New distributors, I know something we were talking, you know, in that chat, some of you guys were talking about, or in the post, you know, just some like different issues. And like, you know, new distributors, I'm making sure that I'm sending my new distributors a post at least once a day to bank. So that's something, if you feel like your new distributor is not really taken off, you know, and you're not sending them posts, do that. You know, because you know, you guys can probably remember to when you were brand new. You didn't know what the heck you were doing. You didn't know what you were supposed to say. So send them that post and help them get comfortable, you know, and tell them like, you know, you can go and take any of the posts that I use. Tell them a couple people that you like to follow that they, you know, you think they have really great posts, but really send them the post. And then once you can kind of tell that they're kind of getting it on their own, you know, you don't have to do that anymore. But I just think that's like a really big thing to kind of be like helping, you know, get them going. Also with new distributors, you know, you should be talking to them like daily or every other day. You know, just check it in like, hey, how's it going kind of thing. And then after that, maybe weekly, you're just kind of checking in with everybody like, hey, how's it going? But you don't want to like go weeks without talking to your team or checking in with, you know, your leaders. And even if you have like an executive and you're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, oh, things are going great. You can still check in with the people under them. You know, you want to find out like really how everybody's doing so you can make sure you're helping them with, you know, what they're feeling like they're struggling with. You know, and I already said it in the very beginning, you know, we need to lead by example. I don't think that it's a good idea, you know, to talk to your new, or not even new distributors, but your downline about feeling discouraged or feeling annoyed, anything that's frustrated, anything that's negative. You know, I see, and a lot of times, you know, I've told you guys before, you know, I don't necessarily think new distributors should be added into group chats with other distributors who have been doing it a little while, just because there can be a tendency for people to, you know, if you've been in the business for 6 months, a year, you might be like, oh my gosh, like, can these people please like quit complaining about this? Or, oh my gosh, like I had someone say that they hated this product and they want to return it. Like, you know, and for new distributors, that could kind of be like a little like, you know, kind of a red flag. Like, oh my gosh, like, what are they talking about? Like, why are people like, you know, feeling this way? But also like group chats especially can sometimes be a place where, you know, we kind of vent and things like that. And you just don't sometimes want new distributors to hear some of that. But like I said, you know, if you do put them in there, that's okay. But you just really got to monitor, you know, kind of the topics and, you know, the things that are being said. But if someone comes in there and like, oh my gosh, like I haven't signed a customer in like a week, like I suck, like I can't do this. You don't want to be like, yeah, well, I'm not signing any either. You know, I know how you feel. No, you'd be like, hey, you know what? I've been there. We're going to keep posting. Let's keep talking. Let's keep following up. You know, you've always got to put a positive spin on things because you're going to see when you're doing that, it's, you know, your team's probably going to roll their eyes at you and be like, oh, here she goes again. But you know what? Like, negativity like breeds negativity. Like, we don't want to do that. It'll spread like wildfire. Like, and you know, we all have been there. Like, I'm not going to say that, you know, I haven't been like, oh gosh, can I like please sign somebody up? But I'm not going to like get in my group chat and say, oh my gosh, like, I totally suck. I haven't signed anybody. No one wants to join my team. You know, like, I'll have a pity party myself. I'll probably call like some of my sidelines or, you know, some of the leaders and just talk to them and get off my like, you know, pity party. But you know, just remember that, like, you want to be the positive, you know, you always want to put a positive spin on things. And if that you feel like it's something you need to talk to them about, take it out of the group chat and be like, hey, I'm going to message you privately, you know. And then if you have to, get your upline involved, you know, say, hey, I just really don't know what to help them do. But you just want to try to not, you know, kind of feed off that negativity and then, like, you know, feed into it. Another thing, like, self-development is so important, you guys. And you know, we always are talking about, you know, if you have to get on, watch some YouTube videos. I know there's some really good books. Jen, I know right now, is really like preaching about rhinoceros success.
I'm obsessed with it.
Every time I talk to her, she's like, I just can't stop thinking about this book. I don't know, Jen, do you know any other really good ones? I know there's like Beach Money. What is that one? Like 4-Hour Work Week. Those are like simple ones.
I really liked The Compound Effect. I read that one pretty much right when I started, and that's a really good one. Beach Money was good. There's 4-Year Career, but I think probably my two favorites so far, well, by far, is Rhinoceros Success and The Compound Effect.
Yeah, I want to get that Rhinoceros Success because you keep talking about
that. Yes, you
do.
One.
And you guys, like, these books are on Amazon, and like most of the time they're like less than $10. But, and you know, if you get them, you know, you can always, like, you know, try to trade them off and things like that. But I know it sounds silly, like you're thinking, oh, gosh, I don't need to read a book. Like, what does that even mean? But like, I'm telling you, there's just something about it that'll make you like just think of things differently. But it's, you know, you can't, sometimes we are like always pouring into our teams, and we're always so focused on helping our teams and our new distributors that we're not like working on ourselves. You know, we're not giving ourselves, you know, maybe the attention that we need. So it's really good to, like, you know, read and like get on YouTube, watch YouTube videos, get on calls, get on these Zooms. I think they're just, I mean, I don't know, I listen to stuff all the time and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, gosh, you know, I feel the exact same way, and it just makes you like motivate you, rejuvenate you, kind of thing. So I just think that's really important to take time to do that. You can't ask your team to do things that you are not willing to do. So I, like, not a lot of people have where I can see their hands, but, you know, I was going to say, like, you know, ask, like, how many of you, like, got on the call Monday night, like our team call on Monday night? Hopefully everybody's, like, saying they are. Like I said, I can't see, like, most of you, so I really don't even know if anyone's listening. But thank you, Stacy. So she was on there. But, you know, and then how many of you guys asked your team to get on there? You know, so my thing is like, if you weren't on there, but you were telling your team that they should be on it, you know, that's like something there, like you need to be doing the same things that you're asking your team to do. And, you know, you can't be telling your teams that they should be posting every single day, you know, but then you're not, you know, telling your team, you know, oh, you should be filling out your steps to success every month, and you're not. Oh, you should get on these Zooms, and you're not. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be willing to do the things that you're asking your team to do. So that's just something so important. Like, Jen and I were talking about that all the time. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, we had a recording. So if you listen to the recording too, that's awesome, you know, but if you have not gone and listened to that yet, you need to. Because, and another thing is, if you're not like plugging into things like that, and then, you know, but your team is, and they come to you and ask you a question and be like, hey, so what were they talking about on that call the other night? And you're going to be like, oh, I don't know. I didn't listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're not showing up to things and then they start noticing, they're going to think, oh, well, she didn't think it was important, so I guess I don't need to be on them, kind of thing. And I'm guilty of it too, you guys. I was telling Jen yesterday, you know, the show me the money call. Like, my husband wasn't here, so I had the kids all by myself. And I was like, I just can't listen to the show me the money call. I got so much going on, I just can't listen to it. Well, I saw all of my team like saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm on the call. And I'm like, I'm a turd. I'm like, my team, I told them to get on it and I'm not even listening to it. Like, I'm awful. So I got in about 10 minutes in and I put it on speaker while I gave the kids a bath. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like the call was amazing. And I'm actually was like kicking myself that there's times that I don't make it a priority, you know, to do that. But I just, like I said, I just felt so guilty because I was telling the team, you guys all to do it and I didn't do it. And I'm like, you know, I can't do this because I would not be telling my leaders, you know, that. So just remember, you know, you can't be asking them to do things that you're not willing to do. You are setting the pace for your team. You know, they need to see you take action and not just say, or not just hear you say that you are taking action. Like, they need to see it. So when you say, like, you know, you're talking to 10 people a day, like, have that excitement and just be like, oh my gosh, I got another potential. Oh my gosh, like, I just messaged my, like, top person on my chicken list. Or, you know, they need to see you posting. You know, I know that's not everybody's going to keep the same pace as us. Like, we know that's not reality. But, you know, if you are running and you are excited, the ones that do want this are going to run with you. And it's going to be contagious. But you can't sit back and, you know, just be kind of like blah and expect your team to be fired up and excited, because it's not going to happen. You know, every single day you've got to be pumped up and you've got to be excited and you've got to start the day. And like, I know a bunch of you guys are in group chats. I'm in those group chats. Your teams are in those group chats. Every single day, first thing in the morning, you need to be like, hey guys, good morning. I'm ready to rock this day. Like, you have to put that out there, because you being excited for the day to start is going to get your team be like, oh, and maybe it won't happen at first. They're probably like, oh, here she goes, you know, like, again, because even when we started these group chats, like, I was the only one sometimes posting my list first. And now, like, we've been doing it for months, and now you guys are doing it before me. It just kind of has happened. And I mean, we're in there every single day and we're doing it, and it's like a habit. So, you know, if you create that excitement for your team, they are going to catch on. But it's not going to happen right away, but you've got to be consistent every single day. You can't be showing up 5 days and then not show up for 10 and then come back and show, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to be consistent every single day. Celebrate the small victories of your team. You know, something I love, and we did a ton when I started, is going to your teammates' pages and just doing a quick little post on their wall. Like, hey, like, I just want to say you're killing it. Like, I'm so excited for you. I'm cheering you on. Or sending like a little motivating little quote, or even just sending them a message. But just like recognizing them is huge, because sometimes, and, you know, even for, you know, us, it's, you know, sometimes you feel like you're working your little tail off and not a dang person is noticing. And it's nice to get a little pat on the back every once in a while. And, you know, just think about that with your new distributors too. But if they're got their first little customer, shout that out. If they've, you know, got Fast Start qualified, you know, all those things. If they, you know, sent out their first cold messages, be excited about those things. You know, it's not always just about signing loyals and signing distributors that we should be celebrating. It's the little things that we're doing to like make that happen that we need to be celebrating too. You know, when you say it all the time, you know, you can't motivate everybody. And that's just because also, you know, this business isn't for everybody. Like, I think, you know, it takes a special kind of person to, you know, stick with this and things like that, but it's so worth it in the end. But it's just not for everybody. And that's just something you have to understand, you know, when you're talking to your team and somebody signs up and the next day they're gone. I mean, have we all had somebody like that? Like, I know I have way more than I would like, you know, and you don't get it. Yeah. And it's like, what the heck? Like, you just had $100. I guess you wanted to spend this week, and that was it. But, you know, you just have to understand it's not for everybody. But you need to focus on the people that do want this. So there's going to be people that are going to come in and out of your business, but don't let that get to you. They focus on the ones who do want this and who are excited, and run with them. Get to events. Like, you know, I know I'm always talking about that. Like, events are huge and they will like change your business. Even if you have to go by yourself, you know, and even if it's, you know, a team meeting, maybe there's not an event in your area, having a team meeting. And if you have one person on your team, you can have a team meeting with them. If they're not local to you, do a Zoom with them. You know, I'm really big on, you know, every once in a while I fall off, but I try to do local team meetings every single month. But that's why we also do these Zooms and things like that for people who aren't local to us. Like, I just think it's really important. But getting to the events and stuff is huge, you guys. Just being in a room with people who think like we do, who are excited about the things that we are. I mean, and just hearing people and like seeing people in person that you like see on Facebook. There's just something about that that will light a fire under you. And I mean, I know like one of my new distributors, Mandy, like she went to an event like a couple days after she started. And I mean, she just like took off and she's like, I really believe that going to that right away, like helped me. And she just went to an event with like 5 of her teammates that have been in for less than a month. So, I mean, just get to those events because you never know what that could do, you know, even for somebody brand new. I just have a couple other things, guys. I'm trying to like go fast. I feel like I'm doing better than I expected on time. Use our team page, you know, Freedom Wrappers. I know, you know, sometimes it can maybe be a little intimidating because there's a lot of people on it. Maybe you're newer and you're thinking, oh gosh, like I don't have a place like to be like on there commenting or posting anything, but you do. It's your team page as well. Like we want you guys to be excited. But the thing to remember too is, you know, your team is on there. And the more that you're active on the team page, the more active they are going to be. And there is not a dang thing wrong with being active on a team page and creating excitement. And, you know, that's going to help them build sideline relationships. So that's going to help them get information from other people. You know, maybe they could start a conversation with another distributor and really like get some great ideas. But if you're never on that page commenting, you know, liking stuff, you know, when people are added to the page, every single one of us should be in there welcoming them, even if they're not on our team. Because remember when you were new and your enroller posted that your welcome post on there, and you know, it's pretty cool. But but imagine, you know, if you had 1 or 2 people comment on it, like you'd probably be like, okay, wow, like they really rolled out the welcome wagon. But imagine though how you would feel if there was like 20 something people commenting on it. And think about your new distributors. When you add your new distributor to that page, don't you want there to be a ton of people commenting on it, welcoming them, making them feel like this is the best thing they ever did? Like probably. So that's just something. And I know the page is so big. I know that sometimes there's a bajillion and one posts in there. But even if it's like one time a day, like in the evening, you're like, hey, I'm going to spend couple minutes in there just commenting on things, or even just scrolling through, because you want to see, is your team posting something in there? Like, did one of your distributors post in there and ask a question? Because you want to know, you know, they might not have asked you, but you didn't know that they were having an issue with that. So, you know, it's good to get in there and just go for like a little bit and scroll through and see what people are talking about. But, you know, you guys are welcome to, you know, post things in there. It's our team page. Don't make excuses about things. You know, you don't have to say, I'm sorry that I wasn't on that Zoom, or I'm sorry that I've been MIA all day. You don't have to tell anybody that you're sorry, because except for yourself. Like, you don't have to tell me you're sorry that you didn't show up. If you want to tell somebody you're sorry, you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're sorry you didn't get on that Zoom, or you're sorry that you didn't work your business today because you were busy doing other things. Or, you know, your family, your why, whatever you want to do. But, you know, if you're telling your team, like, especially in the group chats, like, hey guys, I'm sorry I was MIA today. I had a really busy day with my family, or I had this and that going on, you know, and that's okay if you really were busy with your family, but you don't have to say it like that. You could just say like, hey guys, we had super busy day with our family in town, but I still did XYZ. Like, show them that even though you were busier than crap, you still got things done. Because if you're like, hey guys, I'm sorry that I was MIA today. We had family in town and we just did all of this stuff. You know, it's going to kind of, or be like, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't on the Zoom. I had to get my kid to bed, or my kid was fussing, or my kid was, you know, acting like an 8. I feel like that's just showing your team, like, okay, like, so Jen didn't get on the Zoom because her kid was acting crazy. So I can not get on a Zoom because my kid is acting crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of like trickles down. Like, all you have to do is just, you don't have to say anything. Don't say, like, I'm sorry I wasn't on. Just don't say anything about it. Or say, like, hey, like, I missed a Zoom, but I'm watching the recording right now. You know, or I missed the Zoom and I just watched the recording. What did you guys think of it? Kind of thing. But, you know, you don't want to, like, let your team think that it's okay for you to make excuses to not be on things, so it's okay for them to do it too. Because I feel like it's just going to be like a domino effect. And maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but that, to me, that's just how I feel like it can come off. You guys we have to create excitement for, like, the online parties, the calls, the Zooms. When we have these things, you know, your teams don't necessarily know who Jen and I are. Like, they might see us posting on the page and they may think, okay, well, they must think there's somebody because they're telling us what to do. But they know you guys. They know who signed them up. They know probably their, like, you know, enrollers enroller. So if you guys are excited about something, like, oh my gosh, you guys got to get on this call tonight, it's going to be awesome. You know, that they're going to be more apt to be excited versus me and Jen saying it, because they're going to be like, well, who the heck are they? And I know for me, like, I always would be like, if someone, like, made a post about something and they tagged some people and Bonnie didn't tag me, I'd be like, oh, well, it must not be important because Bonnie didn't tell us, or Bonnie didn't tag me in it, so I guess it's not something we should really do, or it's not, you know what I mean? So your teams really do, you know, notice those kinds of things. And I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years and I still tag all of my team in posts. I don't care if you're a diamond, double diamond, or what. I'm still tagging you in my post, in the important information, because that's what we did when we started. And if I think it's important enough to tag you, then it's probably important enough to tag your teams. And it's, you know what I mean? So, you know, but even the online parties, if there's a party, we got to be excited, you guys. We're like, oh my gosh, you guys, these parties are awesome. Like, let's all get on here. Same thing for Zoom, things, you know, things like that. And just like the last thing really was, you know, being a part of this. We're really excited about this leadership group. I mean, we really think it's going to be helpful. I've gotten a lot of good feedback already from a lot of you. But, you know, we feel like it's, you know, it's a privilege to be a part of it. You know, not everybody gets to be a part of this group, but also we, like, are going to kind of, I don't want to say, like, you know, expect more out of you, but you guys are the leaders of our team. You know, we expect you guys to be showing up to the Zooms and to the calls and to getting your teams pumped up. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were picked to be on here by your uplines, and you know what? Like, we're ready to rock this out, and we're going to be able to do it if we can do it together. So just remember, you know, we want you guys to show up and to do all the things that you know, maybe you feel like you struggle with, your team struggles with. Like, we really want to take it up a notch. And so that was just kind of like all I have. Jen, like, I don't know if you want to add anything. I know
Did you talk about, like, the busyness of summer and stuff?
No, but if you want to say some things on that, you totally can.
Okay.
It
So
wasn't on
really
my
quick. Sorry. Oh my gosh, you had notes.
I know.
I'm like a little scared right now. Okay. So summer, for those of you that will have, like, kids home from school or dealing with, like, getting people to camps or vacations, barbecues, you know, summer, and we kind of talked about this with our summer training video. But one thing I did today is I, like, set my alarms on my phone. I'm going to be waking up earlier than my kids so that I can get, like, my power hour done before the day starts, because I know, you know, the smart girl in me knows that when they're home, it's going to be crazy. And like Lindsay was saying, that is not an excuse to not work. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm sorry I was MIA today. My kids are home from school, because that's going to be for 3 months. So if you guys have any of that going on, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take some time to really think about what works for you and how you're going to accommodate that. So for me, I have an alarm set for 6 a.m. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do a power hour in the morning, and then I'm going to do another one when they're in bed. And obviously I'm not going to be MIA throughout the whole day, but I'm not going to sit here and think that I can do a power hour in the middle of the day anymore like I have been. So if you guys have that going on, please plan in advance for how you're going to work that out. Because like Lindsay said, we need to be leading by example. So like in my team chats, y'all are going to see a message from me with my list at the butt crack of dawn. So turn your phone on silent if you don't want the ding going off at 6 a.m. But people are going to see me working early in the morning, and I hope that everyone will, do what works for you, but make sure that it gets done, because sometimes I'm going to do it later or I'll figure it out means that it doesn't happen at all. And that's not what we want.
Yeah, and if you just gotta make a plan. Like if you're like, oh,
Yes.
okay, I gotta go to work, and then later we have the kids' baseball game. Okay, think out the night before and be like, okay, when will I be able to do my interacting for the day? Is it gonna be like as I'm, sitting there waiting for the game to get started? When am I gonna be able to send out my friend request? Like it might have to be scattered all throughout the
Yes.
day versus a little power hour, and that's okay.
Yes.
But you have to still make the time for your business, because this is like a huge time of year. And like Jen, I don't know if you were on, I don't think you were on the beginning, but I talked about like how I had this crazy like excitement like that I haven't had in a while. And there's just something that I feel like this summer is literally going to like blow our freaking dang minds. Like I think for the first quarter, as far as I'm concerned, like it didn't even happen. Like, there's big things coming, but we have to like run with it now. We cannot let the summer slow us down. Like we have to make the time for it. So you guys really have to think. And if you're like, okay, well, I'm taking my kids to the pool tomorrow, how am I going to work my business tomorrow? Okay, well, then you need to think, am I going to have to wait to work do my list after we go to the pool? Or are there a few things I can knock out while I'm sitting there really quick? But those are the perfect opportunities to take a picture and say, hey, this is where I'm working today. Or things like that. Like it's okay to like do a post and then go enjoy your family time. We're not saying you have to sit there and work the whole time, but just be intentional. Like take that picture, put it up, and then go be with your kids and go swim and things like that. So, but you cannot make the excuses of it's summertime, like Jen said, and my kids are out, or it's summertime and we're going to be traveling every single day. It doesn't matter. Hello, that's the beauty of this business, that you can work this from anywhere. Like it doesn't matter if you're in Timbuktu, you can still work this business. It doesn't matter if you're going to visit your grandma in New York, you can still work your business. It's all about priorities. And you've got to
think about it and plan it. Because what is the saying? If we
failing
fail
to plan,
is planning to fail. So none of us are going to be doing any of that. There we go.
Exactly. So, and like I said, I don't know. I'm just like so fired up. Like I can tell I'm in this crazy work mode because I've been staying up so late. I've been like, I don't know. I'm like talking on the phone at all hours of the night just because I can't stop. I'm just so excited. And this is like what was happening like a few years ago when people were like boom, 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 exploding. And something really quick I just want to end with, I talked about it for a second was, there's going to be people coming in and out of our businesses, and we want to focus on the ones who want this. And I really mean that. When say you last month you had somebody and they were killing it, they were signing up people left and right, and then this month they're gone. They're kind of MIA. But you have somebody else over here who's killing it. Like focus on those people. Like that could be your next rock star on your team. That could be the person that helps you go emerald, go diamond. You know what I mean? Like really focus on the people who do want this and not those that don't want it. Because I feel like that got me for a little while. And like I've been telling Jen, I've been telling a few other people, like I've just shifted my mindset. And I'm excited for the people who want to do this and the people who want to run with us for summer. Like I don't have time to like drag people along with us. And I know you guys have messaged me and that's how you were kind of feeling, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on the ones that do want to do this with us, and we're just going to like bust it out. And the other ones can be waving at us from behind because we're like not slowing down. So I'm so excited. But that's all I have. Does anybody have anything they want to add? I know no one put anything in the chat, so I guess no one had questions. I know it's kind of like maybe some of you was just kind of like a recap of things, but I know there's some of you guys who are the emerging leaders that hopefully there's a few little things on there that we hit on that will help you a little bit. And like I said, we're doing things, we're going to address all of the things that you guys did in Jen's roll call post, some of the things you're struggling with. We're working on getting some videos. We're also going to make some videos of our own to address some of those things. But you guys, use this leadership page. Now, you don't necessarily have to use it in the same way we use Freedom Wrappers. We don't have to post asking for results pictures or asking, product questions, because that can be in Freedom Wrappers. We want this leadership to be things that maybe you want to ask that you don't want your downline to see. I have someone struggling with, signing customers. I feel like I'm telling them everything, but they're not doing everything. What would you guys say? Or, hey, I have a charting question, or how do you guys figure out where to place loyals and distributors? Things like that. Those are the kinds of things that we want to be in the leadership page, that things that just, we're not posting in Freedom Wrappers, because, and a lot of you guys don't know each other in this leadership group. And some of you guys are way newer to the business. You're babies, but you guys are killing it. And I'm really excited because I feel like we're going to get some of your guys' fresh ideas. I feel like I'm like an old lady over here in this business. And some of you guys are coming in and signing up tons of people. And I want to know some of the things you guys are doing, and it's okay to share what things are working for your teams. Share that with us, because maybe we can take it back to our teams too and kind of, share it with them. And I just want us to, all come together. And I feel like we're better in numbers. And I just am so excited for the leadership coming up on this group, because this year is going to be crazy. You guys, if you don't feel this heat coming over here, there's a fire, and I'm just, so excited. So I don't know, that's all I got. I guess we can get off of here. I'm sure you guys got lots of work to do, and if you didn't before this, now you probably have a lot of things that you're thinking about. And we're going to have the number 2 video up tomorrow for the summer training. So make sure you guys and your teams are on the lookout for that, because that's another thing we're really excited about. So
yay. Thanks, Lindsay.
All right, you guys. Thanks. You guys have a good night. Bye.